we lost our Facebook account about a year ago. Somebody hacked into it. And you try to talk to those guys about, could you please reinstate our account? They don't care. There's nothing. And we ended up just, all right, we're starting from scratch again. So you lose all your advertising, you lose everything.
I had an Aweber account with 100,000 subscribers, and it got shut down. Aweber banned me. I couldn't mail. I spent 3 days. So that account was making me, every time I would email anything, I would make $3,000. So I cried over it.
Yeah.
I quite literally, I just cried. Yeah. But then 3 days later, I got my shit together and made a few moves. And then also our CTO made a few moves. And we ended up making 2 big moves that helped elevate us to the next level. One of them was developing a funnel/click management system that we used in the past that boosted our click-through rates 400%. The other one was getting with an Israeli email company that allowed us to have better delivery rates. We purged the list, had the list of about, I don't know, half the size, 60% of the size that we used to, but delivered better and kind of got going that way. All in all, worked out because, we cried a little bit, but then we said, okay, now we have to take the next step.
We've had many similar experiences. We had, who was it? JP Morgan Chase shut down our main company's operating account about a year and a half ago. They froze it because we got an international wire, which for whatever reason caused them to freak out. I still haven't figured out why. And that was a wire.
Yeah, that happens. We had it happen here in Canada as well. Like a wire from the US, all of a sudden they freeze the account. The wire starts calling the phones like, what is this? Is this money laundering? Is this weapons exchange? I mean, they just start asking silly questions.
It was one wire, and we had 2.1 million in the account. That was our main operating account. And it was all locked up. And, we're doing Google AdWords and all this stuff, spending a lot of money. And, they're like a wall of silence. When you call them about that stuff, like, oh, it's under investigation by internal fraud. We can't tell you what the problem is. We can't tell you when it'll be resolved. And then we heard, oh, well, we're going to close your account in 10 business days and send you a certified check for the balance. And we're like, what did we do wrong? Like, we did nothing. And then after 10 days, they still didn't do anything. And we're like bugging the crap out of them. And finally, they just said, oh, it's all resolved. It was all fine. Your account's open again. So I'm like, you guys have to be kidding me. Like, this is a complete stress. And so after that, we just changed completely the way we operate. We now put money into T-bills. So we buy T-bills.
T-bill, what is that?
Treasury, U.S. Treasury bill. So U.S. Treasury is considered risk-free because you own the bond. And it's a bond that can be short, can be matured anywhere from tomorrow to 10 years from now. You can buy them any length you want. Because you might buy an old one that's due tomorrow. That's why it could be due tomorrow. But anyway, they're very inexpensive to buy, pretty much no fees or commissions. What's safe about them, though, is even though banks fail, you own the T-bill. Your money is not in a bank account. And they're totally liquid. So we now have like 5 bank accounts. And, so we take care of, we get a lot more FDIC insurance, and we have T-bills all the time that is our money. It's not a bank's money. And as it turned out, that irritation has proven to now I sleep well at night despite banks failing.
Dude, this is what entrepreneurship is all about. This one thing happens and you're like, oh, I see how this could have ended differently. I see how this could have turned out to be really, really bad. Okay, let me do something about it. 6 months later, you got 15 bank accounts, money spread across like the different assets. There's like, now instead of having one stool with one leg, you've got like a room full of tables and every table has 6 legs. You really you're like, whatever happens, I can switch like that. I'm good.
Yes. And because of one, it wasn't even a rogue wire. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just one wire that the bank decided they were worried about. And they just, I'm assuming they're under a lot of pressure because that's not the way normal business would act. And we've been with them for years and years. And
there's no loyalty with these things, right? You can wake up and lose your merchant account or or supplier decides that they want to just, or a client leaves because someone else gets them like a penny cheaper a service or something. There's no loyalty.
Yes. And we lost our Facebook account about a year ago. Somebody hacked into it. And you try to talk to those guys about, could you please reinstate our account? They don't care. No. There's nothing. And we ended up just, all right, we're starting from scratch again. So you lose all your advertising, you lose everything. And it's like, I guess we'll start. I don't even know why anybody stole it. It's still a mystery because they never did anything with it. They just stole it.
There's so we got hacked some time ago, and basically our service got hacked and the files got encrypted. So why do they do that? Because they just run a software and they just hack 1 million accounts all at the same time. Oh, it's just, there's no rhyme or reason. Some people just want to see the world burn. That's what I learned.
That's true. As unhappy people, we have this saying in our business: hurt people go to hurt other people. So we try to be careful in our languaging when we market. I'm not looking for the angry, the broke. It's funny, you were saying earlier how, our brain is tuned to avoid danger, which you had said, the negatives. The negative attracts. I actually don't use much of the negative because I'm afraid of it. Like, I'm afraid of attracting that angry, disaffected person who starts the conversation. Oh, isn't it a terrible day out today? Or, isn't the world a bad place? I don't want that person near me or my business. I want to stay away from that person.
Yeah, it can be really contagious too. There's a great book that I really like to reread every now and again. It's called 48 Laws of Power. And, there's a great book. There's a chapter there. Yeah, by Robert Greene. And there's a chapter there about it being contagious. How if you're around negative people or people who get sick a lot, it becomes very contagious very quickly, and it has an effect on you. Which is why you always want to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, richer than you, healthier than you. So the contagiousness takes you the other way.
I think that's a really good point. I often tell my students who are headed to where they could be successful, and I'll say, just don't talk to the people that bring you down about it. Like, don't talk to your brother-in-law or your sister or whoever it is that's against this.
It's always a family member, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like it's for you. This is a scam. This won't work. So don't put your money. Oh, you're doing that. Oh, you're going to lose all your money. It's like they don't know anything about it. And the less they know, the more certain they are, which is the other part. I'm like, you're not going to convince them. So just drop it. Like you can talk to them about like a soccer match, the football game, the weather, family members, a movie. Not about your business though. And I also find with people, like there are all kinds of people I meet that are, equally or more successful than I am. And what I'm always trying to find out is, hey, how'd you get where you got to? Like the questions you're asking, like, what were these formative experiences? I want to learn what I can learn. I'm not like, oh, I got to take that guy down a peg. I hope he fails. Because you could take both approaches. And I think the angry person is just taking the approach of, oh, I got to knock him down. He thinks he's so big. I just, you could think that, and then you'll just go to a negative space and never learn anything except how to be angry.
You're right. You're so right. Man, this has been a tremendous learning experience. I'm really grateful for you taking the time.
Thank you.
I want to put a few links in the show notes for people to go and find out more about you, your programs, your books. So can you give us maybe just a brief list of places and things that we can check out? Sure,
easiest. One's really easy. If you go to The Rise of Overages Today, that's the easiest place. I have a free course over there where people can learn about buying properties at tax sales and buying tax liens and this thing called overages that we do. That's what we're doing today. I always teach what I'm doing. I don't teach anything I'm not doing. So I have older courses that I don't do anything with because I'm not doing them anymore. Because I think if you're teaching something, you should be doing it. This is old fashioned, but that's what I think.
That's true.
You can just go there.
That's old fashioned, but it's true, man. True. So it's you said it's the riseofoveragestoday.com.
Yep. So The Rise of Overages Today. And there you can learn about this business. It's basically what I'm in is a helping business. I'm helping people who have lost their house at foreclosure get money back. And I teach other entrepreneurs who want to do that as a business how to do it. Because nice. They're on average 3,000 tax sales per day in the United States, plus another 1 million per year in mortgage foreclosures, although those numbers are going way up right now for
Of
the
course.
natural reason of the
Yeah.
economy, not the economy doing so poorly.
Yeah, I think the recession is really helping with the demand for that service.
Yes, unfortunately. And it's like, I feel like I'm the ambulance service. I don't really want there to be car accidents, but there are. So I'll go help people as best I can. And, I'm not looking for foreclosures, but there are and there will be. And so we help people as best we can. So that's my main business. Um, and we do some coaching and things like that. Although the main core of what we do is self-study courses. And then we'll do some live events occasionally and some coaching on a limited basis.
You also mentioned you now have a podcast.
We do. We have a podcast, and we look to interview interesting people, just people who've been successful, usually in business, but have been successful and sort of like you're doing, find out what makes them tick. Like, what were their formative experiences? What do they think about life, and how are they being successful? And I find that really fascinating because it's such a wide variety of people. Like you can't tell. Like, if you show me a picture of a person and said, "Is that successful?" and I'd be like, "I have no idea."
No idea.
and the people that can be successful, there are also people I see that that's a superstar who won't be successful as an entrepreneur because they're a superstar maybe in a business, but not outside, not on their own.
I've seen some of that. I've seen some of that where people kind of need to sort of hook themselves up to someone else, right? To perform really well. No, I get that.
It's an interesting thing because it's not me. Like, you can't put me in a big organization as a cog in the machine and have me really work. It's just not. It won't work.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But I'd say that I'm grateful for there being people like that, because you can only do so much on your own. You can dealing with, what I know would happen for sure if I, for example, got in a relationship or got married with a person like myself, is I would divorce them really quickly. Because I wouldn't be able to tolerate myself, I'm pretty sure.
I think there's a thing to that yin and yang.
Right.
You got to you need your opposite in a lot of ways. I was reading, I know you're short, so I won't make this long. I was reading a story about wives and marriage, and it was pointing out that there's the translation of a woman's role is actually your equal and your helper. So the woman's your equal. And the way they describe it is like, it's sort of when you get married, you get your own critic who's there to help you get better. So she's always going to tell you what you're doing. Like, honey, that's not, and she's the one that will do that. And it makes you better, but it's not always pleasant to listen to.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. I think it's a skill to be able to take criticism without taking it personally, to kind of learn to dissect the intent or to not to assign intent to the criticism. I think that's really difficult to do.
Key to happy life, because if you start thinking everybody's a bad motive, you'll hate the world.
Oh yeah, man! I'm totally inviting you over again as soon as I can.
Thank you.
This has been tremendous. So, guys, you can go and check out more information about what Bob's doing right now, what's he teaching right now and doing right now at the same time over at theriseofoverages.com. You can also Google Bob Diamond and find their YouTube channel, the podcast. There's lots of information. He's been around for a long time. There's lots of things you'll find. One of the most legit, quote unquote, gurus, who's also been known as the Guru's Guru, by the way, in the tax / real estate space as well. And just an overall great, humble, super humble, by the way, super humble guy. So I highly recommend you go and check out what he's got going on. And till next time we chat, have a good one.
Thanks, Igor. It's been great.